All right, guys, we're gonna get to work. Look at this. "2:47 in the morning." Okay, so what I'm gonna focus on this morning, I guess, since it's 3 in the morning, is outfeed table for the table saw, and it's gonna have storage, and ultimately I'll have a downdraft sanding table built in. But let's take a look at what's going on. If I come over here, we've got the router table, and I like the router table at the distance that you see here. It's 32 inches from the wall. That gives me an area. As much as I used to hate troughs, I'm going to put a trough back here so that stuff like this, it has a place to go, it's out of the way, and I can keep running the router and not have to knock stuff out of the way all the time. I used to not like troughs because you accumulated stuff in there and you had to vacuum it out. But having a trough allows you to push stuff like this out of the way instead of having it lay all over the place. So where we are right now, I haven't updated this. There's been no video for this table, but I'm building a table out of 2x4s, 2x6s, and 2x8s. And dust collection from the table saw will run from the port down into the table, under the table on that lower shelf, and then up to the port over here. The reason for that is I want to hard pipe everything and keep it out of the way. So I'm going to store materials on the bottom. I'm going to have a shelf here. There will be another shelf here above the middle one. And then this top is, I cut 2 layers of this. This is, 38 by, I believe it's 93 in length. So as you see here, I've laid out a line. I'm going to angle this so that instead of having a hard corner here coming into this, coming around here to the side of the table saw, I'm going to have this angled section here. I've also laid out my 32 inches here, and what I'm going to do is run a 3-inch radius over here. So this is the Evol tooling. This is a 4.5 inch and a 3-inch, 4.5 inch outer, 3-inch inner. I'm going to run a 3-inch radius, but I'm going to run it 3 inches back from the edge of the table. And then over here, if I come back this same, I've got my 3-inch spacer block. If I come back that same 3 inches, I'm going to use this 5-inch outer radius to blend this forward wall right here to this angled section. So let's get that laid out and cut. Alright guys, let's talk about this Outfeed table. I built this out of 2x6s on the lower frame, 2x4s for legs, 2x4s for this second shelf. I'm going to add a third shelf of 2x4s. There are 2x8s under there for dust collection. And right now there's one layer of a 3/4 inch top. A second layer will be added, but I wanted to get this piece cut with the radiuses so that I could use that as a template for the second layer when I add it. I also have some testing I want to do for the downdraft sanding table that I'll have here, and that will be another video, just the downdraft testing to figure out exactly what I want to do. So let's look at some of the things I did here and why. Obviously this taper, it just makes it easier to walk to the other side of the table saw. I put a big 5-inch radius here because I wanted to make it, you know, obviously softer. If you bump into it, it's a softer corner. On the inside here, I just ran a 3-inch radius and I cut in on this 3 inches. Now the reason for cutting in 3 inches, even though I have less outfeed table between the table saw and this edge, is from this wall to the front edge of this router table right here is 32 inches. 32 inches is a good distance for me to reach. I don't have to stretch, I don't have to really lean over. It's just easily accessible for me at this table height and at my height and my arm length. So if I had left the additional 3 inches of material here, I would have had a harder time reaching back here on the table, and it would have made it more of a reach to get to the 6-inch blast gate. To keep from having to deal with that, this is an easy solution. It still gives me plenty of outfeed table, and I don't have dead space over there at the corner of the table. Another great thing about setting this up the way I did is I can take this overarm, move it out of the way, and now this table saw and this outfeed table combine to be one large assembly table. When I'm assembling sub enclosures, if I'm working on door panels, I can just swing that out of the way and I've got one large work area right here that I don't need to worry about bumping into anything. I just move the fence out of the way and there's just one large surface there to work and assemble things with. Are you guys seeing that? It's almost 4 in the morning.